Hey guys, I'm here with Meteos from Cloud9 who just came off of a win against Curse. Now, this was a huge sweep for you guys. 3-0, how does it feel?
It feels really good. I was honestly expecting to lose before we came in today because our last week of practice has been so rough. I think in the past week we haven't won a single best-of-5 series against anyone that we've scrimmed. So it was not going well, but I think we just really pulled it together for game day, and I'm happy with how we did.
With Curse in particular, is there any strategies that you guys made sure to implement?
I think our draft phase was probably the best thing we did against them, which was to ban Nunu and Zillion because they just really changed the way the game flows. And while we can play those champions too, we just feel like we can win a game easier if they're just not there. Because Zillion's people randomly getting level 2 off the first wave. Nunu's if you leave Baron alone for 15 seconds, the other team has it. So there's these really annoying champions that we didn't really want to deal with. And so we got them on... Basically, I think keeping Dominate on a low-pressure early-game jungler was a big thing for us because he's extremely good at ganking early game. He knows where to be. He knows where to pressure. And so Kha'Zix isn't great at early pressure, and Nocturne's really not great at early pressure. So I think that was sort of our strategy going into it. Lemon knows more details about the drafting phase, but it seemed to work out for us, and then we just played out our comp, tried to capitalize on our strengths and their weaknesses, and it went well for us.
Now, you guys have been a top team for quite a while now. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that you guys prevail over these other NA teams?
Well, this split was closer. I think that the other teams are getting a lot better, and it's just up to us to try to, stay ahead of the curve is what we've always tried to do. It's all about just putting in a ton of time, practicing really hard, never getting complacent or cocky or anything, because that's basically the number one way to just fall off. You just think you're better than you are. So we understand we're not the best team. I don't even think we're the best team. So it's probably just that mentality, just always trying to improve, that has kept us number one for the past couple splits.
I know a lot of people actually think that you guys can be huge competitors with Korea and potentially beat them. Have you heard that yet?
Well, people said that last year about us, and we lost to Fnatic. So I don't really know how we'll do against Koreans. I imagine we won't beat them because the only time we played them was at All-Stars against SKT, and we got completely destroyed. And we did scrim them over there, and we still lost most of our scrims. We managed to take a couple games off them, which was a pretty cool morale boost, but I think Koreans are still better than us, but obviously we'll do our best, and hopefully we can beat them.
With Fnatic here at PAX Prime, have you gotten a chance to play against them and maybe scrim?
We scrimmed against Fnatic a couple of times. They're always really fun to scrim against and play internationally just because they're really good, and they just sort of will punish you really hard for stuff that maybe some teams in NA don't do, because I guess when you scrim against the same teams every week, you get a little bit lazy against them. You don't try as hard. It's more of just all right, let's go into scrims, let's pick this random champion, see how it does, but you don't try as hard as you can. But with Fnatic, we have sort of this rivalry going with them, so we're both trying our hardest to win the scrims, and they take vision control really well. They move around the map really well. They have extremely good map movement, some of the best we've ever played against. So it was fun, and the scrims are really productive for us. It helped a lot.
I heard that scrims against TSM have been insane. They've been doing really well. How well do you think you're going to be doing tomorrow playing against TSM?
Based off scrim results, we should get 0-3 by TSM because we actually haven't beaten them in a game in 2 weeks in scrims. So, but I think we did play a lot better today. So hopefully we can put up a fight against them. Whether we win or lose, I hope it's a good series. And if we show up and maybe they have a bad day, then we can win.
What about Curse? After playing them, how do you feel about their third-place match against LMQ? Who do you think will take the win?
I'm not really sure. Curse and LMQ. I think both teams are still good. And it's really hard to judge how well two teams will do against each other just because teams play differently. And some teams do well against other teams. And so I don't really try to analyze other teams' strengths and weaknesses that closely because it seems like a job for analysts and other stuff. I just focus on myself mostly. That being said, LMQ's games were closer against TSM than Curse's were against us, but the way LMQ lost was pretty rough for them, so they might be dealing with some sort of tilt. I sort of noticed that in their last game. In the fourth game, the Lee Sin pick didn't go well at all. His plays were just barely not working, and so and Tristana won every game in that series. So going into the next game, I was like, okay, they should not give the other team Tristana, and they shouldn't pick Lee Sin, and they picked Lee Sin and gave Tristana again, which is it's somewhat tilty looking. They're just really sure it's going to work, and then it didn't work again. So that's pretty hard to recover from mentally. And so basically both teams just lost, actually. So Curse might be feeling bad too. So I think it's whoever can recover better from the loss will win that series.
When it comes to Curse, what do you think they did wrong playing against you guys?
I think our draft phase went really well against Curse. That's probably the biggest thing. I think we came out ahead and we were able to basically take a better scaling comp in 2v1 in the games, and they weren't able to get anything early game, which is what I think it comes back to. And so we just scaled well, and I think we had some really good dragon fights almost every game. The first and second game, we just had like a really decisive dragon fight. So I guess they just messed up the dragon fights a bit.
Now that you guys are going to Worlds, what are you going to do?
We are going to go to Korea right after this, actually, just straight from Seattle to Korea, and we're going to boot camp for a while. We are friends with SKT when we played them at All-Stars, and they have always said, oh yeah, if you ever come to Korea, we'll scrim you. And so we can practice against them, hopefully any other teams that'll scrim us, and we'll just stay there until Worlds and hopefully do well.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing those games. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
I'd like to say thank you to all my fans. Thanks for the continued support. Hope we made you proud today, and wish us luck against TSM.
Today we have good practice against TSM. We're gonna do a best of 5, and then I think tomorrow we're gonna try to get.
After PAX, all we're gonna do is go to Korea and do the same versus Korean teams this Sunday. So,
how have the practices against the NA teams been going so far?